Thanks to the support as a channel member, Curtis Rothwell. Well, folks, in all my many years playing Football Manager, I think the second half of this season might just be the most miserable I have ever been. I couldn't put you through it. This is the end of the season. To summarise the last few months, we had our wage budget slashed almost immediately, so we weren't able to do any more transfers because we were way over it. And even with selling players, never got back under it. We'd already used up all our loans for the season, so we couldn't bring in any more loans. The ones we had were largely recalled. And we've set a new record winless run as a football club and haven't got a new owner or any talks of a takeover going into summer. So at least we didn't get relegated. We probably will next year, though, because tomorrow's transfer special is going to be even more misery, I think. Hello and welcome to part 62 of Wembley to Wembley. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we've got our final two games of the season. We're at home against Cheshire and we're away against Gloucester. And then we've got to figure out what to do. We've managed to not get relegated. Form, though, as you can see, we abandoned the 4-3-3 when it stopped working. We've gone back to the 4-4-2. That didn't start working. But realistically, a lot of it is because we don't have any players. Look at our squad planner. Look at our squad. I mean, that is a squad of 18 players. However, 3 of them are goalkeepers and 3 of them are greyed out players. So we've actually only got 12 outfield players at the football club. And there have been times with injuries that we've not actually been able to field an 11 and we've had to use the greyed out players. So, and we can't sign them permanently because we're still over the wage budget that got slashed all the way down there. So we can't, the most we can offer is non-contracts on £1 per appearance, which nobody, even our own greyed out players, will accept. We've had to let a few more players go. Joel Vincent went to Beaconsfield. Beaconsfield must have money because they've signed 3 players of us this year and actually gave us £7,000 for Craig Laycock. I am sad that Laycock had to leave. Especially sad that he's gone there and not even playing for him. They're probably going to be coming up to this league next year. And I can only assume they've got, I don't know how they've got so much money. I don't understand. They get fewer fans than us to their home games, but they're able to spend transfer fees. We've never been able to spend a transfer fee, but it is a bit of a who's who of players who used to play for us. He didn't. That name looks familiar. I must have had him in another save. But yeah, it's not been a fun time for us. But we did manage to get enough points on the board early on in the season to avoid relegation. 50 points with 2 games to go. That's a positive. Now let's go and take our medicine in our last couple of matches. If we could pick up a win in one of these, that would be super. So this is the team. Sebastião in goal. A back four of Machiavelli, Brown, Young and Thomas. Thomas already has a transfer arranged for the end of the season. Fairley on the left, Yearwood and Larson in the middle, Best on the right. Hill is now playing up front as a target man alongside Roberts. Camper will come back in as target man when he's fit again. And then obviously Hill won't be here next year. We have got Camper, Best and Scowen, I think, are the 3 that are contracted for next season. So whatever we do over the summer, we've got to build a team around those 3 players, and none of them have been spectacular. I mean, Scowen's been a pretty decent option for us this year. I have enjoyed him, but Best and Camper have not been the same Best and Camper that we had in the league below, but we've got them here for at least 1 more year. At least they're cheap. I guess Camper's not even that cheap. We're already losing after less than a minute. This doesn't bode well. This could get humiliating. This is what it's been like. Absolute misery. And if they score again, I think we just go on to text only highlights just so that I don't cry in a video, because we're just powerless to stop it from happening. We can't change anything. We can't do tactical changes because we don't have the players. We can't bring in players because we don't have the money. We can't bring in money because we can't go on a cup run because we don't have the players. We got ourselves into a vicious cycle that, I mean, in real life, it ends in relegation and potentially the club going out of business. Those of you who followed Non-League Legend a few years ago with Peterborough Sports, in real life, this is not massively dissimilar to Peterborough Sports' season, first season in the National League North after they got promoted way above their level. They just didn't have the money to be able to do it. They couldn't do the upgrades to the ground that they needed to do, and very nearly went out of business, but were then saved by a takeover. And that's kind of the situation that we're in. We don't have a ground. We don't have any players. We don't have any money. we need someone to decide to come and save us. Otherwise, we're just going to fall back to where we came from and drop back down through the leagues. And it is just a case of a team that's too small coming to a level that's too high for them, and we just can't compete. We've tried to compete financially as best we could by offering the likes of, I don't know, Laycock as an example, giving him a couple of £100 a week, which is more than we should be spending on players. We've got a number of players in this team on more than £200 a week. Larson, for example. These are boys who are probably going to have to move on. Larson, Young, Brown, these are all players on a couple of £100 a week. We can't pay those kind of salaries. As much as Best hasn't had a great season, at least he's only on like £120 a week. Scowen, similarly, not on a huge amount of money. So there are a few positives with some of these boys, but Roberts is another one. We just can't afford to keep him. He's had a decent goal scoring year, 14 goals for us, although offside, 13 goals for us. But he's on over £200 a week. We can't keep that kind of player around. And that's not just me deciding we can't. The board won't let me pay that kind of money. And I can't imagine they're going to give us a whole load of extra wage budget this summer. I mean, look at that from Best. Remember when Tom Best was untouchable? And now he just gives the ball away immediately. And it's heartbreaking. And I mean, this is a team that finished just above us in the league. It shows how good our early season form was. Remarkably, when we still had a squad, when we still had our loan players, when we still had a few players here, and we were able to do some things tactically, we were doing okay. But it's impossible playing Football Manager with a squad of 12 players. That's what I learned. That's lovely work from Hill, but he's kept Best out of the team for most of the season. That's only his 4th goal of the year. He's not exactly replaced Best's goals, has he? But then when Best has had runs in the team, and he has had runs in the team, he's not scored either. We had 3 30-goal strikers last season. I'm flabbergasted about how big the step up from tier 7 to tier 6 has been. I've never experienced this in Football Manager before, and I've done these lower league road to glories many times over the years, and the step up has never been like this in the past. The fact that Camper, Best and Laycock they got nearly 100 goals between the three of them last year. They come up to this level and they haven't got 20 goals between them this year. And it's so confusing to me that when our best players from last year can't make the step up and we can't afford to upgrade them, what do we do? What do we do? Sebastião lumps the ball forward. And I mean, if we could grab another goal here, wouldn't it be fun to think that we'd be in with a chance of getting a point? But we're just so porous defensively. Thomas playing at right back is a left back. We don't have a right back at the club. So Thomas can't play right back, but he's having to play right back. And Brown could play right back, but if he does, we don't have another centre back. I guess Larson could drop back and play centre back, but then we don't have another midfielder. And it's bonkers. It's mad how we're forced into playing players out of position who aren't good enough. I mean, there's no way Thomas was brought in to be the backup left back. There's no way he should be nailed on, guaranteed starter at right back for us. Tom Best, look at him, a 6.2. What's gone wrong with Tom Best? And if you're wondering why I'm not playing Hill on the right-hand side and Best up front, that's what I did in the last match. And that didn't work. So we tried it this way around in this match. Oh, my word. Right, come on, Tom. Do something. I want to say Best is best one more time. What was that? Oh, my word. I don't know what's happened to him. Hill almost grabbing himself a second. Maybe he was a striker all along. I mean, that finishing suggests he almost certainly wasn't. But, you know, there was, in amongst this run of misery, by the way, so long ago, I've forgotten to tell you about it. There was a game where we scored 7 goals and Sam Camper got a hat-trick. And I thought for a minute everything was turning back around. That might have been the last football match we won. And it was so long ago that I'd almost forgotten that it happened. Oh, my goodness me. Can we just have the end of the season now, please? Look at that. Thomas did an almost clearance. And now Best back at right back. Maybe that's his future. Look at that. Tom Best found a red shirt. This is This reminds me of how he used to be. He's making an attacking run. Give it to Tom Best. Let him look like the old Tom Best one more time before we unceremonially dump him this summer. Hill, lay it off to Best. He has. Best trying to skin his fullback like the old days. No, bottled it. Thomas with the in-swinger. Larsson's there. It's actually not the worst goal in the history of the world. Thomas with his left foot, because he's got no right foot despite playing right back. It's actually a decent cross from him. And we have got another goal back, and maybe we'll be able to get one more point before the season is done. Wouldn't that be delightful? It's a good header from Larsson as well. But that's a left back playing right back, crossing to a defender playing in midfield. And that sums up everything you need to know about this football team. We're going to go attacking. We are going to try and get ourselves back into this match. We gave so many chances to Chesham early on. Best's just fallen over there. I don't even know what's happened. That was, he can't even walk in a straight line now. We're going to score here, though. It's going here from Roberts, and it's going to be wonderful. Come on, stick it top corner. He only has, it's 3-3, and Wembley are trying to put on a show. You lot are here, and we're having some fun for the first time in months. 3 goals we've scored. We've come from 3-0 down after, 15 minutes? 3-0 down after 10 minutes to 3-3, and we've got the whole of the second half still to play. It's all to play for, boys and girls. It's setting itself up for a Tom Best winner. Ultimately, the match means nothing. But it's nice to score some goals. It's nice to have a nice time. We like to have a nice time. Right, Brown, another one who we can't afford to keep next year. Plays it back to Larsson and then gets it back again. Gives it to Young, another guy we probably can't afford to keep. And Best, laying it off to Thomas again. It worked so well for the goal that he's decided that's his new thing. He's just going to lay it off to Thomas rather than trying to beat a man himself. I can't believe that he just doesn't decide to be unplayable Tom Best again. That's all it's all any of us want. A mazy Tom Best run and then thumping it into the far corner. Right, here is Best. Only a fullback to beat. Finds the cross. Roberts couldn't get it past the keeper, but it wasn't Best beating his fullback, but he did get the cross in and created a decent chance for us. Half an hour to go. We are going for it. Hill with the corner and Leo Young. Talking of players who've not made the step up, Leo Young, well into double figures for goals last year, doing exactly that. That's only his 4th goal this season. But we are 4-3 up now. This is absurd. This is spectacular what's going on here today. And I can't really explain it because our form is rotten, morale is rotten. The team, I guess the team picks itself because there's no other options. What's happening here? How have we scored 4 goals? Football Manager, you strange little rascal. It's the reverse of the thing that I complain about so often in videos. We're in rotten form. I closed the game. I've opened it back up again. And all of a sudden, we're great. Oh, my word. Oh, Football Manager, never change. This has been, if you turned up 17 minutes into this match as a Wembley fan, you've had a wonderful afternoon. Goodness gracious me. Right, Scowen is going to come on now. The one substitution we can actually make. Camper isn't fit. Jimenez is greyed out and not fit. And the other 2 are goalkeepers. So that is literally the only substitution we've got. Unless we pick up an injury and bring on a goalkeeper to play outfield or an injured Sam Camper. This is it. This is us trying to see out the match now with no players. But at least Scowen's returned to fitness. That's nice. Hill with the in-swinger. And we're looking at another one. And it is Scowen. And that's his 8th for the season. Our 5th of the afternoon. I don't understand what's going on. Oh, Football Manager. Just Football Manager. You little turd. Why do you do the things that you do? It's giving me hope. We're going to add a 6th here. This is insane. We've hit the post. Best. No, Best. A Tom Best goal really does make this day perfect. One last hurrah before we decimate the squad in the summer and get relegated next year. And then I get fired and the series ends. But at least we're having one last enjoyment of Wembley before 5 episodes of misery and then a long summer holiday. Oh my goodness. We're 5-3 up. I did not anticipate this happening today. We're still going to draw it, aren't we? We're still going to find a way to throw it away. It's 5-4 now. I mean, we're on track to set a record for our highest scoring game ever, I imagine. Cheshire are as bad as we are. They've got a worse goal difference than we have. It's no wonder, based on how rubbish their defence is. Goodness me. 7 minutes of time added on as well, and we've got another corner. It's going to be Hill to take. We've got Young in the middle. We've got Brown in the middle. We've got Scowen in the middle. Cross comes in, and it doesn't end up with any of those boys that I mentioned. Hill crosses it in. Brown is there and can't keep his header down. 6'4" and can't score an open goal header like that one. Goodness me, Cheshire are going to be furious that they've lost this match. I don't know how they have, but we will absolutely take it. That's our first win in months. It's ridiculous how long we've gone without a win. In fact, it will say in here, won't it? Does it not give us the first win in goodness knows how long message? I mean, I can show you on here. The last time we went... Oh, there you go. We did win 2-0. There were a couple of wins after the 7-2. But, yeah, that was mad. Last game of the season incoming. So, final game of the season, we are determined to get a goal out of Tom Best. We're playing him up front as an advanced forward alongside Camper. Hill drops back to the right-hand side of the midfield. Scowen comes in on the left because Fairley is under offer and is probably about to leave. Otherwise, it's the same team because it has to be. It has to be the same team because we don't have any more players. Camper's not really fully fit, but Scowen, Best and Camper, that's what we're building the team around for next year. So let's get them all on the pitch together today in a combination that might work. Maybe this is the way we do it. Maybe Best and Camper will be our strike partnership next year with Scowen on the left, and maybe it'll just work. Or maybe it won't. I guess we'll never know. It doesn't matter if we concede early goals here. We know we can go 3-0 down and still win the football match. That's apparently our thing now. But I'd rather not have to come from 3-0 down. That would be nice. Okay, counter-attack is on. Larson just had no interest in that break, did he? Larson knows he's leaving. As much as I've enjoyed him the last couple of years, I think he's on £220 a week, which is roughly double what we can really afford to offer anybody. So as useful as he is, he's not a standout superstar wonder player. So he moves on. Scowen's on half the money he's on. That's the kind of player we need to find. Non-league journeymen who don't want a lot of money. Presumably guys who've got a good day job and just want the opportunity to be able to play in the National League South because it's probably above the level they should be playing at, but they want to give it a crack and they don't need the money to be able to do it. That's the kind of guy we're looking for. Proper ambition. They're in it for the love of the game. We need to find about 15 of them, then get 6 loans that we can actually keep hold of all year because we'll play them in positions that they're supposed to play in, rather than promising to play somebody as a fullback and playing them as a wing back and having them withdrawn because they're recalled because they're such different positions. Obviously, you've got to recall that guy to not play for you. Football manager things. I mean, this is very different from the last game, isn't it? All the goals in the last game, nothing's really happening. This one, Best's won the ball back there. Tom Best. Best, he's not. Best is, maybe, if he scores here, Scowen. Scowen to Best to Camper. Goal. That's what we want here. Oh, Tom. Tom. You used to score goals. What has happened to you? I don't understand. Is it the security of having a 2-year contract? Will he be hungry again next year because he's playing for a deal? He knows he's got money next season, not enough to live on. We're in London and the man's earning £110 a week. I don't know that he should be resting on his laurels, but maybe that's it. Oh, for goodness sake. Well, the result doesn't really matter. We were just hoping that we'd stumble across a combination that lets Best and Camper do their thing. I don't think I've used an advanced forward in this entire save so far. It's always been poachers or target men or the odd pressing forward. Advanced forward's a bit of a fancy Premier League role, isn't it? We don't want to do the fancy Premier League roles. Larson's given the ball away there. He doesn't care anymore. He's already checked out and getting ready to go and play in Tier 8 next year on double the money. Oh, it's been disallowed. Right, let's go attacking. Let's try and drag ourselves back into the game. Let's also do that because Hill actually played quite well in the last game up front. I know he was playing as the target man. We don't really want to play 2 target men, but Best just isn't doing anything. I don't understand. The comments section will somehow blame me for it. I've given that boy so many opportunities this year, and he just doesn't do it anymore. Ah! We're demanding more. I'm very upset about it. My watch is telling me I need to stand up because I've been sat here so long in misery. I agree, watch. I should stand up. Stand up, walk out, and try and compose myself ahead of what can only... I mean, I am not looking forward to this transfer window that we've got coming up. I have no idea what we're going to be able to do, if anything. Because remember as well, we don't even have a youth team to pull players from. Because that's the thing you get with a lot of clubs. You get in a situation like this, oh, well, you just have to rely on the youth. We don't have a youth. We haven't got a youth system. These 12 outfield players are the only ones at the club. We haven't had a youth intake in about 4 years. That was the first thing to go. We lost that before we lost the ground. These are literally the only players here. Come on, gentlemen. Let's have a goal for old time's sake. Sam Jackson is controlling the game today, apparently. Nothing we can do about that. There's a Sam, though. Sam Camper, only his 8th goal of the year. What's happened to him? There's been a lot of talk about Tom Best. What's happened to him? He was 30 goals last season. How has he fallen as far as he has? Can we make another substitution? We've got 2 goalkeepers on the bench. I mean, probably shouldn't. Come on, let's have an equaliser. It would be lovely after the way I've built this episode up, if we could somehow come out of it with 4 points. That'll answer a lot of questions of, Kev, if you're that bad, why didn't you get relegated? Because when we try, we're still not awful. I think mid-table has been fair. And if we just had 18 players rather than 12, we could have had a chance of a push at the playoffs. If we'd have been able to bring in loans in January, for example, I think we could have got to the playoffs this year because we've shown moments of not being awful, but not often enough. Take the corner! I just want to end the episode. What is he doing to me? Have I paused the game? My word. Time wasting just to put the manager on tilt is what we're getting now. Right, Camper, who's actually looked quite good today. Roberts must be offside here, surely. He's chasing it down quite well for a man who's definitely leaving because we can't afford to keep him in a game that means nothing. He's trying there, which was quite nice. It's a reassuring sign. I don't know that it makes much of a difference in the long term, but Gloucester on the attack again. Sebastião, comfortable. Maybe we'll bring him back next year. I don't think Sharman Lowe's here for more than... I think he's out of contract at the end of the year. I don't think we did a 2-year deal for him. Right, Leo Young, sign off with a goal. Because you've been here a long time. One of our longest serving players, one of our most influential players. I don't know that we can keep him, though. So it'd be nice for him to get one more goal, just to remind us of what a threat he was last year. Spectacles and all. Every time we give the ball away, they just lump it forward. And we then struggle to know what to do with it. Larsson's got space here, gives it to Machiavelli. Come on, have we got an equaliser in us? Fairley, his final appearance for the club. Fairley just needs to find the cross. He does drill it across. I mean, Roberts should have scored. It fell to Camper afterwards. Neither of them able to apply the finish. And Scowen showing why we gave him a new contract. Fairley across to Camper this time. It falls to Scowen, who, I mean, he's tried to break this guy's window. I'd be concerned if I was the man in that house back there. But we now really do have our final chance. Roberts to Fairley, to Sam Camper. Is he onside? I don't think he is. We're looking at the lines and he's got his flag up. It has been disallowed. But Camper's been lively today. Maybe he just needed a season to acclimatise and we'll have him back to his best next year. That would... Oh, don't say best. That just makes you feel bad. Well... We finished mid-table. We said at the start that would be fine. We've done it. It was fine. Are we going to see budgets just to see how miserable tomorrow's going to be? Go on, give me the budget. Make me cry. We've got £1,700 a week at the moment. Planning for next year. Nobody's under contract. We can't plan anything. So that's our current budget. Let's, for goodness sake. This is the lowest budget we've had in about 5 years. How on earth do we put together a team that's competitive at this level with that amount of money? We're spending more than that now, and we've got 12 players. Oh, I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. If you've enjoyed that, please leave a thumbs up. You know the rest. I'm going to go and have a little cry.